Hi, welcome back. This is Sanjay Kumar Verma from Unikaksha. So friends, today we are going to discuss very interesting thing, that is Google IP address. Now we will try to understand how many types of IP address offered by the Google Cloud. Basically, we know that there are two type of IP address. One is private IP address and other is public IP address. That means using of the public IP address, you can access of your instance anywhere, any point of time. And private IP address always used for the internal network and corporate network, right? So in term of Google, they call it external IP address of the public IP address, and they call it internal IP address of private IP address. So when you are provisioning VM instance, so every VM instance will have a one internal network, or you can say one internal private IP address and another external IP address. So we can understand external that means we are talking about of the public IP address, and it's a internet addressable. That means you can access of your VM instance. Internal, that means we are talking about of the private IP address or internal to a corporate network, right? So you cannot have two resources with same public IP. Yes, that means simultaneously you can't attach of your single public IP with two resources, right? All VM instances are assigned at least one internal IP address, right? So creation of the external IP address can be enabled for the VM instance, right? So I will show you how to get the external IP address and how to get the internal IP address, and I will show you how to reserve the external IP address. That means you can convert of your external IP address into static, because you know public IP address is already static IP address, right? So I will show you how to do like that. So friends, you can switch off your static IP address with your another VM, with your load balancer, with your another network card when you want to attach. And this is the important. Remember, you are built for an static IP when you are not using it, right? When you are using of the public IP address, or you can say external IP address with your instance, with your load balancer, that means in this case Google will not charge any single rupees. So you can see this is my Google dashboard, and right now if I will show you, I don't have any kind of instance, right? Okay, so first of all, let me provision an instance. That we have to click on create instance. Okay, you can assign the name, any name like web server 1. Perfect. Choose the region, because right now I am in India, so I will be interested in the Delhi region because this is nearby me and this is the availability zone. Perfect. Then you can choose the instance size, right? N1 is sufficient for me. Here I will get 1 core of CPU and 3.75 GB RAM. Perfect. Okay. And then now you have to choose the boot disk where your operating system is available. So by default, it's going to offer Debian, so you can change as per your choice. So might be at this time I will get the Ubuntu Linux, right? You can choose the distributions, you can get the version. It's a perfect for me. Let's select. Okay, so if you want to configure the web server, then you have to allow the HTTP port in the firewall, correct? And now it will automatically will give you a one internal IP and another external IP. So internal IP is only for accessible by the Google network, and using of the external IP you can access of your VM instances. There are multiple ways to access of your VM instances, but this is the primary way, right? So we have to click on create. So please wait. Yeah, you can see it's creating the resources. So friends, we can get the detail select of your instance. This is the name. This is the internal IP, and you can say this is the private IP, that is 10.190.0.7, and this is my external IP, and I have passed out the SSH because they will allow the SSH in the firewall, so you can access of your instance using the browser, using of the Cloud Shell, whatever you are using, right? And any point of time you want to stop, suspend, you can do it, right? So now I'm going to access of this instance in the browser, right? It's going to open a new window for me. It's going to connect. Please wait. OS is going to log in. Yeah. So you can see. Correct. So let me do the login. Sudo su hyphen, right? So if I will hit the command IP address show, so you can see this is the internal IP address, right? So this IP address is going to match with this, right? And friend, when you will hit the ping command, right? So this IP address is not reachable from our outside. You can ping this IP in the same network. You can get the reply on this machine, but if you will try to ping this IP from your physical machine, I hope you will not get the reply. Control C. When again I'm going to open the CMD, and this is my Windows 10. Now I'm getting the hit 10.190.0.7. You will get the error, right? So private IPs are not reachable from the outside of the network, right? So like this. So my dear friend, this is my external IP, or you can say public IP. So by default, this is offered by Google for me. So my dear friend, when I'm going to restart of my VM instance, this IP address will not be changed. Now you can see this is the IP address, and this IP address is reachable from outside, right? When I will hit the ping CMD, because this is a public IP, ping 34.131.60.25. Yes, you are getting the reply. That means this IP is reachable. Perfect. So my dear friend, when I'm going to restart of my virtual machine, this IP address will be changed. Now, sorry, when I'm going to shut down of this virtual machine, this IP address will be changed, but I'm going to reset or restart, this IP address will not be changed, right? Now you can see. Instance is going to restart, and now I hope this connection is lost. My keyboard is not working in this. Okay, I will connect it again. Machine is going to connect with this. Now I'm able to log in with the same public IP, right? And I have the same. But when I'm going to shut down this IP, when I'm going to shut down with this virtual machine, this IP will be lost. Now you can see. Stop. Please wait. when you are going to shut down of your machine properly, might be it will take 90 seconds. Now you can see instance stopped. You can see you have lost the IP address, right? Again, when you are going to start this machine will have another public IP, correct? Now you can see I am going to start. But this is not good thing for the production environment or real environment. Might be I have configured a web server on this virtual machine, and day by day I am going to shut down this machine when I don't have any kind of work in the night. So obviously public IP address will be changed. So every day I have to share this public IP for my customers. Those are going to access of my website. So what to do? So Google say, my dear friend, don't worry, you have to get a external IP. Now you can see this is the new IP, correct? So let me open a duplicate window. Correct. So now external IP is a separate resource. You can search external IP. External IP is a separate resource which is offered by Google. So, my dear friend, you can see if you want to reserve of this IP, you can do it, right? So, what to do? Now you can see this is the current IP address. If you want to reserve this IP, you can do. So what to do? Select this one. Why I'm not going to select with this? Reserve. You can give it a name like my static IP. Click on reserve. Okay. And now you can see currently the type has changed. That is the static IP. Okay. Now, by default, it will give you the premium tier. Right. Then you want to attach with your instance. You have to choose. Now, right now, I'm not going to attach. No, none. Okay. Try to understand. Okay. Please wait. Okay. So in my account, I have two public IP. One is ephemeral, another is static. That means static, this IP will not be changed when my machine is going to shut down. Ephemeral, that means this is a temporary IP. Correct? This is the temporary IP which will be associated. Right now, this IP is associated with my instance. Right? You are getting the status that is none. Select, reserve, and where it is. Just a second, please. Because this is already reserved, you can attach, right, with your instance and then OK. Correct? And now again, when I am going to shut down, you can note this IP 236. Stop. This IP address will not be changed. Please wait. My server is going to stop. Please wait. You can see it's under process. You can see instances successfully stopped and IP address is available, right? And now you can see ephemeral IP has gone, right? If you want to attach of this IP with another instance, you can do it. You have to click on change and you can find out of your instance, right? Now you can see this is not available with my instance. You can attach with another instance if you want to. You can see the status in use none. That means no one is using, right? So if you want to attach with this, you have to choose of your instance and it will be available. See the thing. Perfect. You can see it's available with web server 1 using of the change button. Correct. Now again I'm going to start with this machine. I have same IP address and now you can see my machine is going to start. So friends, like this you can fix the external IP in the Google Cloud. Now again you can see your instance is reachable. Yes, you can see my instance is reachable, right? So now point is that how would you release the public IP when you are not using, right? So first of all, you have to detach this IP with your instance, right? So let's click on change button. Okay. Then click on none. That means I do not want to use this IP. Okay. Please wait. IP address is going to detach with your instance. Yeah. And now you can see the status is unused. Then select off your public IP or external IP. And then you have to click on release static address. And then you have to click on delete. So friends, this is the idea behind of the external IP address. So when I have released the external IP, so Google will allocate automatically a one ephemeral IP address with my instance. So now you can see I have this one, correct? So this is my ephemeral. So using of this IP address, I am able to access of my instance. I hope this will be clear. That means how to attach a external IP with your instance, how to release the IP from your instance. So thank you so much.